All right, good morning traders and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going through live order flow analysis and also look at some trading opportunities. It will be in demo paper trading mode, but what we want to go over is not only the order flow analysis and understanding the auction process, but also opportunities, how to take advantage of those order flow opportunities, and also how to manage them. They are very separate issues, and that's why we're going to look at them and cover them. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. So please keep these in mind as we're going through the education here. It is order flow education. It's not a trading room. It is an order flow education room. All right. So let's see, anything else we want to go through? Yesterday we had our Bookmap Academy meeting, our weekly meeting. If you're interested in this, let me show you where you can go and you can sign up for this if you like. It is a mentoring and coaching program. Go to bookmap.com, click here on more button. Under community, you'll see Bookmap Academy here, and you can apply for this. You can read through it. You can get Bookmap for free in here. Also the MBO bundle, also data, but you need to journal your trades. So it's a win-win. Get good at trading, journalize your trading, and get Bookmap for free. Anyway, go for it. Sign up here. Start creating some content in your spreadsheet with your trade markups. And then we can give you feedback on that. All right, so let's move on and let's jump into these markets and see what's going on. All right, so we're looking at the S&P E-mini. We are at all-time highs, right? Let's double check that here. Yeah, well, we're just below it here, but I mean, we've broken out into all-time highs. And take a look at the move here. On the 15-minute chart, we're looking at higher time frames first, and you can see that pretty nice breakout here on this candle, and the hourly as well, pretty nice in here, and then the daily also looks pretty good. It's not as convincing here, so it may fail, and we may come back into the range in here. We'll keep an eye on the order flow in Bookmap. Always want to keep an eye on the high time frame, right? So now I also want to start off with this new version of Bookmap. It's alpha version only, and you guys don't have access to it at the moment. But this is amazing, and we'll zoom out here, and you can see I'm zoomed out to October 11th here. So we see several weeks of data and order flow data in Bookmap. This is what I drew. This trend line here is what I drew up on, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. And we were bullish. Okay. We were bullish because it's breaking not only the trend line, our horizontal line here as well. And we can even, add another horizontal line. At that point, it hadn't traded to this yet, this horizontal line up here, but we were looking for the move into it and potentially through it up into some of these areas up here. I'll put another line in here as well, this is what I wanted to cover here, is how important it is to understand the higher time frame, and now we can understand even the order flow on the higher time frame, like much higher time frame. Right, so this was bullish. We knew it. We were looking for the continuation move for several periods here, whatever period it is. So in this case, it's been the entire week. It's been bullish, okay, and we're still bullish, right, until we see something different. It's breaking out and it's climbing to new highs. Right, so Anyway, we had a really great Academy meeting last night or at market close, and the a lot of the journaling was showing higher time frame as a filter, which is fantastic. So we saw what content from Stephen. I think you had some, but for sure, Shark Baloo, Trading is Life, a newcomer to the Academy, from John 412, also from Rob, and it was really great to see different ways of looking at it at the higher time frames, and then filtering down into the trading opportunity and the order flow. Okay, it's a really important filter, and I wanted to cover that in here today, and we will continue in this direction, right? And now we can do that also with this new alpha version of Bookmap, which you guys will have access to soon. I just don't know when. All right, there's still some, it's there's some issues with it still, right? So we don't want to release it yet, but and I don't want to draw too many lines on here as well, but look at this beautiful trend line here, just beautiful, right? And bouncing off of it now, and this is the third or fourth touch, so something like that. 1, 2, I don't know what you want to call that, but here's 3. So yeah, great. Yeah, Caesar, great stuff from people yesterday, and using that higher time frame, and yeah, Shark using his footprint charts in Bookmap, which was awesome, I thought as well. Okay, so anyway, yeah, and good morning everybody, by the way, Alois and Caesar and others. All right, so let's go in further here. All right, look for some opportunities. Let me see if there's any questions over on YouTube. Just a minute. No. Okay, we're good on YouTube. All right. No. Okay, we're good on. Okay. All right. So I'm kind of curious to see on this higher time frame here, this higher time frame view. This goes back to the 23rd, so I'll have to use it here. There's another trend line here. This is the breakout trend line, and now we're seeing this pretty steep pullback here. Okay, so now this is we're still bullish until we see something else, right? We're still in bullish mode here, but let's take a look at this here. Okay? And time of day, we're going to bring in a lot of different elements here. We see the 9:30 cash open and the move to the upside here. And we can also see here around 9:04 or 5, we see the move to the upside to the top of this range and the breakout. Now let's take a look at the volume. Look at the volume bars and look at the color and size of the volume dots here that are market sell orders hitting the bid, and what kind of traction are they getting? Okay, so we're just testing into where it broke out from here in this area of liquidity. Okay, typically this is exactly where we're looking for a bounce. So, like in this zone, actually, it would be, I would say it would be, this is the zone here. We're looking for a bounce, and because this is where the buyers came in, this is the cash open, and we look for more buyers to support that. We need to verify that though. Okay, now we've got some, but we're still in a downtrend here. Okay, on this time frame. Okay, so I'm not touching it, and until we see more follow through on the buy side. Okay, and then it depends on what time frame are you trading. Okay, so we can scalp it up to this area right here if you want, etc. I mean, it's just wide open here. However you want to, whatever trading style fits you is really the. This is not what we. Hold on a minute. That I want to trade from the Trader Map Lite version. Okay. Yeah, so let's jump over here. Trader Map Pro version. Okay. Yeah, see how the heat map looks just much, much better here in this version. Okay, so this is where we're looking for our bounce, right? Right in here, and we got it. We got the bounce, it's retesting though down here. Okay, so we'll see. Do we get sellers down here again? This kind of leaves us where we left off on Tuesday. I was going through kind of level 2. And let me bring up that that webinar here. Hold on a minute, and I can show you the link here. Yeah, it's this one here, and it's called Translating Level 2 and Time and Sales in Bookmap. Okay, so I'll share this with you guys and put this link into the chat. What we're covering, some very, very simple things in here, like at this bottom edge in here, is it still auctioning? Are there still sellers? We want to see that on these retests in here, do we still see sellers here, down here? If we get enough sellers in here, we will get price exploration down into this level of liquidity and maybe below into this level down here. Okay, so let's watch closely here. So it just traded up to the top of this little range here. Now we're seeing a bit more sellers. Okay. Now, this is where we want to read the context of the order flow, the order book, and the aggressive sellers here, this context. Okay, can the sellers trade through these levels of liquidity here, or do they exhaust and we start to find buyers, and we find buyers up here? If we do, then we're looking for the move back up into these levels here. Okay, and we are anticipating a bounce here. Right, we're in that zone in here. Okay, more sellers. Okay, see how this works? Like selling down here. Okay, look for the next level of liquidity. There's some exhaustion. There's some selling. Buyers counter. Okay, still back and forth in here. Okay, but they are auctioning down here. Okay, now that's a lot more. See the distinction here now. Okay, now these are going to be trap sellers down here. Okay, now well, I'm going to look for a pullback in here. Okay, just to show you what I'm looking for, and I want to go into my Rhythmic account so I can demo the multi-account trading. This would be the pullback I'm looking for, and in fact, it's already pulled back here. So let's yeah, I knew I was just gonna miss that. Well, we can still look for a pullback here. We're gonna miss it. Okay, we're filled. We're filled. Not where I wanted to be filled, but kind of chased it here, right? But this is the distinction. We're looking for that auction. It was auctioning down here, but look at this buying here at the top of this range here. Okay, and now we're going to look for stop runs up into these other ranges here, and that's exactly what we're getting. Okay, so I'm going to take profit at the top of that range. This is just a scalp. Okay, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Okay, but that's the idea here. Now we're seeing the buyers come in. Okay, this is where we left off on Tuesday. So let me know if there's any questions on this. Okay, and then down here, if we auction down here and sees more selling again here, I will exit this position, because that is not the way I'm looking for it to behave. Okay, it's starting to auction here, can't break the high. There it does, there it goes. Okay, so we're filled. All right, so we got 1.5 out of it. That's it. Right, it's a quick scalp, it's a quick trade idea here due to what we read down here. Any questions on this? Okay, if it's a loss, we'll go through that as well. Like what did we do wrong? What did we misread? Or maybe we did nothing wrong and the market just kind of turned over and reversed, right? But this was the read, and this was the distinction right here. It was this volume dot, and then we're looking for a pullback. We set our order at that point. Okay, and we did get the pullback. We just didn't get deep enough, and then I had to chase it. Okay, which made me a little leery here to chase it because I'm looking for actually taking some off up here. Instead, we saw more buying up here, got another pullback, and then look for a move to the top of this range. We got to move up to the top of this swing up here and hit into this liquidity here. Here's our context. Okay, this is supply. The aggressive demand met the supply, and we didn't find more aggressive demand. Now we're getting a pullback. Right, so just putting these very, very simple auctioning pieces together in the order flow. Right, let me see, they've got a question over here. Yeah, level 2 market depth, dome, Luis, it's all really the same thing. Yeah, I can cover it for you if you like, but in more detail. Let's see if others don't mind. Can we see how you have a Q key set up? Okay. Yeah, sure. We can jump over the Qs quickly and show you that. Look at the order flow here in the Qs. Okay. Here's 9 o'clock, and actually I should play around with the settings a little bit here. Volume dots. I'm gonna go with the default to begin with. That down. Okay. Okay, it looks a little bit better. All right, so what is this, and what's the problem here? Why does this look really difficult to read? It's because the way this instrument is traded. This is a stock, it's open to a lot more people. The way that people are using this index here, which is highly liquid, there's tons of hedging in here. And you can see it in the action. It's in the order flow. So it might be kind of hard to read, but look how you can see, like, these are algos in here providing liquidity. Why do you see these striations like this? Let's actually zoom right into this area here, and I'll show you precisely. Okay, here 76, 69, 62. So seven ticks. Add another 7 ticks here. Something like that. Add another 7 ticks here. So this is an algo. Okay, and you can see it in here. They changed their idea. They you can see it. It moved down 2 ticks. Okay, and then it moved back up 1 tick, and then it moved down another tick. Okay, it is the same algo. Right? Why is it behaving like that? It's a larger player. And how are they using this index in here? Most likely for some sort of hedging, or something within a bigger position. All right, so anyway, that's why you see the Qs like this. Okay, so now the way to look at the Qs though, or SPY, is to start to look at those longer term areas of liquidity, like here and like here. Okay, also down here. There's a distinction there. Okay, that algorithmic activity is muted here. Okay, so now we're looking for example. We're looking for more of a reaction, maybe down here. I would have looked for an example or a reaction in here as well. It kind of did it, to be honest. Here's why: because it traded through it, but look where it retested back to it. Okay, to see if there's going to be buyers back up above that area here. So it was a critical area. This is what you can see in Bookmap in the order flow, right? Why did we get the retest back here? Well, it's not only a high volume node. There's a ton of liquidity here, okay, from the buy side. These were buyers here. This is demand, but there's just more supply, that aggressive supply, that traded through it. Retested it here, and not enough demand from the aggressive buyers to retest back up into these levels up in here. Okay, we might get there, but not right now, right? This is how you can start to also make your targets. Okay, we had a great discussion with John 412 yesterday, talking about setting targets, understanding liquidity, and setting your target. Okay, just by going over what we just covered right now, you can start to look for a reaction up here. Okay, we covered yesterday differently. It was more like, where is the high liquidity that's on the offer, on the bid, and then look for your opportunity to trade, and then start to look for your, you already know your target's going to be like maybe down here. Okay, so if you're a seller, then you'd look for that you already know where your target is. Okay, it's a really very powerful way to use the heat map. Okay, because that's where you know where the buyers are. They're down in this area here. And now you can see this instrument, it constantly shifts and changes. Liquidity on other instruments, AF, it will be a lot easier than the stock indexes like the Qs and the SPY, right? I would recommend that use the futures if you can. If you don't have you can get the futures data for I don't know, like $37 a month, okay, for the indexes. And if you don't want to use that, and you want to use just the Qs, just keep in mind these levels of higher liquidity, okay, and start to read it that way. You can filter them out here also by right-clicking on the heat map and then going to upper and lower cutoff in the settings here, and you can see how we can filter out a lot of that, right? And this gives you much better kind of reading. Okay, all right, let's jump back here to Bookmap in the S&P. All right, so yeah, we made a little scalp out of that, and you can see that this was a good decision. We saw the momentum starting to come in on the buy side. We were looking for we were actually looking for sellers on the bottom end here. Not enough, and then we saw that distinction with the big green dot here. That's why we're looking for higher. Okay, and where did it go? Well, now it's even easier to read by zooming out a little bit more. High liquidity here, but the liquidity up here, and not enough demand to go through. Okay, absorbed that demand up here, these limit sell orders. Okay, so we're right back down, and we finally have retested now this area. And again, this is the demand, this is the supply. They met. They also met here, and now we're just chopping around in this zone. Okay, you can't make this stuff up, and I would encourage you to go back and start to use a Bookmap this way. You've got your level here, but look where we dropped from here. This is where that supply came in. Look where we've retested here, right back to it. Okay, we see this all the time. Okay, now there's still more supply. We just saw it here. Okay, so now they've traded into this liquidity. Okay, is there more? Can we trade lower? Or are we going to start to find buyers at this point? Okay, that's what we want to determine. This is going to be like a false breakout or a false breakdown. Okay, we'll let the buyers tell us. All right, let me jump over any more questions here. Now, today I promised, good morning, Rob. We were going to go over, good morning, Stephen. We were going to go over candlestick patterns, because we went over order flow and reading level 2 and translating the level 2 time in sales and in Bookmap. And being able to see it right here in the order flow. Okay, because we discussed, just to kind of quickly review, and then we'll go into the candlesticks, is yeah, understanding what level 2 means in the dome, what people are looking at in the dome, and how they're, because there's so much material out there on the dome and level 2. How does that translate to Bookmap? And that's what we covered in that webinar in detail. Okay, here's our retest down here. Okay, do you still see supply? I don't right now. Okay, here comes a little bit right now. Okay, now then if that is the case and we see this supply coming back in like this, they should be able to trade into 46 and then maybe 45 and maybe 43. Okay, we will see. Okay, but we did find some sellers here. What kind of traction are they having? This is where you see it bouncing into your level 2 all the time, right? And this is where you're looking for that follow through on the sell side here. But you can look, you don't have to like stare at these numbers flashing all day long. You can look at it here in the heat map and the volume dots. Okay, now this is the extra context you're getting in here in the heat map. See how these sellers, or I'm sorry, these buyers added more liquidity in here. Okay, they want to be, there's more buyers here as price is coming down toward them. Okay, so this is kind of shaping up as like, you know, a little bit of a battle between buyers and sellers down here. Okay, our time and sales. So this is your level 2, is looking at the heat map. You've got the price structure here, right on the chart in Bookmap. You don't need to look at and remember your dome levels or your level 2 levels. You can look right at it here and look at that context. Your time and sales is basically this string of volume dots that you see here. Okay? You're going to see your time and sales match that. Okay? So you don't have to look at all these different charts. You can just look at this composite view in Bookmap and put the pieces together. Right? It's much simpler, much easier on the eyes. It's graphically represented here. Okay, so yeah, so this was a kind of a false breakdown. We saw the auction here and we got more here. Now I'm looking for them to trade back to 61.50 here. And we read this exact same way earlier. The difference was that we saw a bigger volume dot. This was the volume right around in here is where we were looking for that volume dot on that previous example, and this is just not as big. Okay, it's a little bit different setup. It's basically the same setup. It's just a little bit different structure. All right. Anyway, that's the review. Let's go into the candlesticks, and I'll continue on unless you guys have other questions and you want me to cover something else, and then we can do that. All right. So let's see here. How do I apply delta when scalping? These are delta dots actually, Doc Green. Sorry, I don't have the YM up, but we can add it. I can go with a continuous contract here. Yep, beautiful. All right, we can take a look at that later as it downloads some data. Yeah, we're working on all sorts of new content, so don't worry about that. Everybody, new tutorials, etc., on icebergs and whatnot. Let's go back and well, it's starting to look really pretty interesting here. This is looking much better. See the selling down in here. We were kind of looking for the continuation into 46. And then here's our volume dot in here. We noted it wasn't as nice and big and clear as this one over here. See the distinction? And we haven't come up into 50 or this liquidity yet. Okay, let's take a look here. Maybe we'll find, again, we're going to look at this little small range in here, and we're going to look for buyers up here. Okay, if we can get enough buyers in here, then they will lift it likely to top of the range and hit this liquidity here. Okay, so not until we see that we consider it. Okay, this would be kind of like a miniature flag pattern in here. And let's see if we get it. Okay, it has to be up here though, where we're looking for those buyers. And again, it would only be a scalp for 1.5 points here. And again, this is not a trade recommendation, right? We're just reading the order flow and then putting some order management around it. So looking good. There we go. I'll put my target right there. Okay, now we're looking for that auction up here on the buy side. They got in a little late. Okay, we don't have the order book on our side either here, really. This is more about the aggressor. We have a little bit of bidding up in here, but it's not that great. Okay, we're just kind of going with the flow here in the time and sales or in the volume dots. Okay, pull back to where that demand came in. See if we get another retest back up here. Okay, if I see a string of selling in here, we're out. In fact, let's do this. Put an OCO in. That'll be target was here, and our selling here. Go. Okay, not looking good. So we got to get our demand in here. Okay, looking much better now. Okay, I'm going to move my stop up a little bit to where that demand came in, right here. Okay, now this is see how it's auctioning here up here, and it auctioned here before, right? That's why we're looking for the breakout. Okay, now we might not get it. Might be another rotation down, and then maybe we get it, or maybe some big seller comes in here and slams on it. We don't know, but this is what we do know in the order flow. Okay, that we saw the buyers come in. We got a pullback, and we're looking in here, and we got in a little late here, and then we're looking for the continuation on up here. One more rotation, and then we got this big volume dot here. So it was looking pretty probable at this point we were going to get it. Okay, so we had to kind of sweat through this one here, and I'm actually surprised it didn't auction off down here and then stop us out. I thought the sellers had it here, but buyers came right back in and came back up to the top and pushed the edge on the top here. Anyway, guys, let's take a look at some candlesticks at this point, and then just to go through the point in here, because and relate the candlesticks patterns that we all know and maybe love or hate, doesn't matter, but then put this into context though. All right, in fact, I'm going to take everything else off the chart right now. Okay, even stops and icebergs. I got to go back here for a moment to do that. Oh, okay. So now we just have a simple candlestick chart on here, and let's go to the settings. It's a 1 minute candlestick chart. Let's see if we can get away with a 5 minute for right now, and go through a couple patterns in here. Okay, so like this one right here, here's the buyers coming in, and then it's not quite the engulfing type of pattern that I'm accustomed to, but this looks pretty good for sellers down here, right? And pressing this bottom edge here. Okay, that's your candlestick pattern here, and that means that these guys in here are basically kind of trapped, and I'd be looking for the squeeze to the downside here, and explore maybe down into where the buyers maybe came in down here. Okay, that would be the trade idea here, and we're kind of missing it in the live market, but as we're covering it here, let's now turn on the order flow and understand this little pattern right here, these two candles, and then look for the order flow to support our idea here. Okay, because the order flow is in here, and it will tell you about the candlestick pattern if it is more likely to follow through or not. All right, so now we'll just turn these things back on, and we'll take a look. Okay. All right, so here's what happened. Now we actually were a part of that event in here. We just got out up here. Here's exactly what happened. Well, this wick right here, this move up here, it traded into supply here. We did not get enough buyers to go further to the upside here, and we see the sellers come in back into the range, and then look where the selling picked up. That was the same idea we had here, right? So between these two 5 minute period, or this 5 minute period here, these two candles, we can put the pieces together. If it's going to auction down here, and you see sellers down here, and they can continue to sell in here, we're going to look for the follow through to the downside. Okay, and we get it. Okay, so I'm not sure how you'd trade the candlestick pattern on this one here. Maybe you'd look for maybe setting a sell stop here, and then looking for the follow through, or maybe you're waiting for that candle to close and then get in. Boy, you're really going to get kind of twisted around on that one, though. You see the wick here, and we also have liquidity here. So again, if you see it and you start to understand that and anticipate this candlestick pattern in here, and we'll look in the live market for another one. This is what happened. It was this selling in here that drove it into this liquidity here, okay? And then we're getting a bounce because of that reaction into the demand and the liquidity passively sitting on the bid here. All right. Alec, good morning. Good to see you in here. Missed you yesterday. Here's another candlestick pattern up here, and a little bit harder to read. We get the big wick here, which is nice. This was at data, though. You can see that the liquidity in here, also 10 o'clock, you can see kind of gets dark in these areas in here. People pull the liquidity away from the market, wait for the number, but anyway, this is a little harder read in the candle. So you're kind of waiting for, okay, yeah, you got the wick here, that's good. You got liquidity over here, that's good. That's very good that you see that liquidity transact, and then we never get back up above it, which is pretty funny, as you can see. All right. But then this candle in here really doesn't give us much information. This one doesn't either, and this is a little too late to the party here. to look for that. I guess you can look for maybe a pullback to where it dropped from, and then look for that continuation. A little harder read in my book. All right. No questions over on Discord, guys. Anything in particular, yeah, you want to take a look at? Like, just throw me a candlestick pattern here, or yeah, no problem, Malek. I know you couldn't make it yesterday. No problem. It's recorded though. Just missed you there. That's all. The All right, let's look for a continuation pattern here. Here's our big, kind of close below the range here in the candles. And if we can, and we see kind of back into the range in here, but this is looking pretty good for another bottom edge in here, and we can set a bracket order here instead. Now I might get caught up in it here, right? So, but this is the idea here. This is the momentum. These are the pullbacks. I'm looking for sellers in here to now trade through and into this area here, okay, and go with the momentum back down into these lower levels here. Okay, we're kind of chopping around again in this range at the moment, but we're looking for auction here on the sell side, okay, and then to be taken into this. Now this is a bad position to be in because we're at the bottom of the range, and it might just go right back into the top of the range in here. Okay, but we'll play it out just for kicks. And again, this is why it's not a trading room in here. We want to demo this, and you can see that we would have been trapped in here if we got in here. But we're looking for sellers at the bottom edge. Now, what's the condition of the selling down in here? How big is it? It's not that much, right? I don't see a bias in here yet for looking for our trade idea to play out. We're looking at these edges, and where is that volume trading is what we want to understand. You can see that, well, you see the big dot up here, and then we get a little bit of price discovery here to the upside. Now, what if that fails, though? So we can still stay with this thinking that this is the driver right now. This is the direction, okay? And that this candle here is meaningless. It's just chop. And we're looking for an auction here and sellers down here to drive it lower, okay, into probably 43 liquidity down here. All right, now we might get it here. All right, let's see. Okay, this candle right here is actually starting to tell us the opposite. You can see we're getting our top edge volume up here. So likely retest some of these areas, maybe back to 50. And this is where it dropped from in here. So that's a good retest area to look for. Okay, I know we're going over smaller time frame levels in here, guys, but we want to demo some of these ideas. So go through the concepts. It just was really great session. I really enjoyed our Bookmap Academy session yesterday, and how you guys are utilizing your higher time frame outlook and then looking at Bookmap on the lower time frame. If we can wish, I want a stronger down move and a hammer thereafter. Yeah, that'd be great. You can see like, the buyers are retesting back up in here. And that was what we were kind of looking for after we saw the volume starting to pick up at the top edge here. Okay. So this trade idea is junk right now. I mean, we can even just cancel this order. Okay, we're looking for a momentum move here due to this move, and then the chop here, and then more selling at the bottom edge. And then we, looked into it a little further. Like, yeah, there was some selling here. Wasn't that great though. And then we started to see this volume dot here, and then the follow through. It retested immediately, but it followed through again at the top edge, as you guys can see. Okay, and then back up to retest 50 for the swing up here, 50 and a half. Is Shark in here today? Let's see. Shark was going over something that from the Axia Futures video. We've demoed it here before. The same thing with the footprint chart. Maybe we can add that in here. Okay, I think there was a question earlier about delta. Understanding the delta here. Add this to the chart. Boy, I haven't added this to the chart in quite a while. In fact, I'm going to look at none in here, but we're going to keep delta on and total sum. So we got delta and total volume, right? So, and oh, and we do have the on a minute here. Settings again. Okay, to select none up here for type. Show text. Okay. Okay, so we're not using the footprint volume on the bar. We're using it here in the delta. Very simple idea in here. Understanding like your delta in some of these areas. Where does it start to shift and change? A negative delta, a little bit, a little bit negative. This is the positive, and then that's where we, had a little bit of follow through, and now we're getting massively negative in here. It's due to this volume here. Okay, but we're going to look again. So what are we're looking for? We see positive delta so far, but we're going to look for, when does this start to turn negative? Okay, because it was negative here, positive, and now we're looking for it to maybe turn negative again. Very simple idea, and we'll look for this with our candlesticks. And let me put a 1 minute interval in here. Just going again for lower time frame, just for the demo purpose. Okay, negative. Here's our positive. Again, guys, see how this matches the volume dot that we were just looking at and talking about? It's here, right? We can see a little bit of positive start to come in here, but this is where we see the flip. Okay, this pullback, positive, negative in here. Okay, a little negative in here, and then it's positive again. Okay, we might get our hammer here, Alois. Let's take a look. Okay, so at an edge that we're interested in, okay, which also happens to be a whole number, or half, big figure here, we're looking for our delta to tell us something. Okay, now one of the things that you can also look for in here, oh, you wanted it lower, okay, we may see it here. You wanted to see it down here. I understand. All right, so there we go. There's some negative delta. All right, how much? All right, now we'll just take a shot at this here. All right, again, not a trade recommendation, but the idea is simple, right? And I'm not going to chase it here. I'm just going to jump in. Now we may just get caught in the rotations, etc. But we're starting to see a transition in the delta here. Okay, we can see it in the volume dots here. Is this now ready? Is the question for it to drop and trade back down into liquidity here? Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. It's looking even better here. All right, so then how are we going to manage this here? Well, let's target our level of liquidity. Okay, very negative delta here, obviously. So now we're looking for sellers to meet the buyers here. Okay, traded there, didn't fill us, but and again, this is in demo, and you can see that our demo or simulator works quite well. All right, so yeah, we're filled on that one. Again, really simple read, just using understanding this kind of turnover in the delta. Okay, and we're not looking for much here on this time frame. Okay? In fact, this is exactly, I mean, we may continue. It may, go to lows of the day. Who knows? But the read was to this area here, and we have our reasons for it too. Okay? We have a structure, and then we're looking for kind of a measured move of another structural area here, and it matches pretty well, something like that. So we have a liquidity level there. That will be our target. Do I have a Spot Gamma affiliate link? I don't know. DB. I'll have to reach out to them on that. Yeah, offhand, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, you might want to go to, thanks, Dan, reach out to Scott Pulcini or Doug Pless for that DB. All right, so here again, like we had our negative delta, we had our reasons for getting out, and then look at positive delta coming in here. All right, so in hindsight, good trade decision at this point. We'll see. We maybe this buying in here becomes trapped, get really nice selling auction down here around 47, and we can get a really nice move into 45 and 43. Okay, these we'll look for a nice stop run here. All right, how about our candlestick patterns? Well, I don't see much yet. We're kind of back to that same theme again of like this is just back and forth. But here's a hammer or a wick, could not come up here, so that's telling us something. The question is, are we getting a lot of supply here by the aggressors and seeing the pull here by the buyers on the bid? If we do, then we're going to look for that follow through. And in fact, let's even maybe there's some selling, so I'm just going to jump in, okay, and I'm going to go for it here, right? Now we're looking for a move down to maybe here, bottom of this range, right? Okay, again, these are small scalps, but you guys get the concepts, the ideas here. Okay, so and we're going along with a candlestick pattern in here. Okay, so down move, up move, retraces it all, less of a move, wick, and then selling down here that we see in Bookmap, and then we also know the candle is down here, and it's selling. Okay, so now we're looking for some follow through. Okay, and you probably candlestick traders on this small time frame would probably be looking for just the test down to this 45.5. But we're going to look for maybe a tick or two lower here, okay, into this liquidity here at 45. Okay, if we get it wrong, where are we wrong? Well, let's look at also a delta in here. Candlestick pattern wise, boy, I mean, you would be wrong up here, and that's pretty big stop on this time frame. So if we see a lot of auctioning here on the buy side up here, we'll just exit, right? And we don't want to get squeezed here. We've got the offer here. See how aggressive they are. These are passive orders, but they're being more aggressive in their behavior. You know, they're showing more supply at lower levels within the range here. So we're still looking pretty good here. And again, more on the bottom edge here. So now let's see the follow through. See these buyers get out of the way and let these sellers take it into the liquidity. Okay, so yeah, you know, still looking for a bit of a push here, but again, this was the swing here, and you can see, yeah, I'm going to exit it just at break even there. So up to you on targets there. You can look for your swings. You know there's going to be a reaction at a swing, most likely. So I'm out and right back to the break even in here. Yeah. Trogdolite, Stoic Trogdolite, exactly. It looks like it's a potential fail here. Like exactly. So we don't want to get caught up in that. So we had our reasons for dumping it. All right, and what does that mean for our candlestick pattern in here? Well, it's going to be a failed candlestick move. Well, I don't know if it's quite failed. It actually kind of did what we were looking for. And now it's just we're back to back and forth in here on the candles. Another thing to take a look at, we've talked about this for eons. This move here, that was right around 10 o'clock, was the deciding move here. Okay, just going by candlesticks in here, this is the kind of decision maker here. And it's a decisive move to the downside. Okay, usually you want to see it break ranges, and it did. The range is here though, and here, let me just mark it up. The range is kind of this here, right? And the deciding move is only this element in here, but that's pretty good. It's still pretty good. And you can't make this stuff up. I mean, like the move here into the liquidity and then the bounce and retest to where it broke down from. Okay, but it's still in these traders are in control still. Right. Here's again more selling down here, a lower high in here. So yeah, I'm looking for it to break, but I'm gonna stay away from this one here. All right, so again, this is kind of how you can use your candles on higher time frames as well, of understanding this move here. On this, it's not much of a higher time frame, but for intraday it is. It's meaningful. Okay, so there's our move, and it moved away from all of this order flow and these all of these transactions, or this range up here. Retested it, failed, came back down. Okay, again, auctioning here. Now, if we get a string of buyers in here, like and they pull away, then yeah, we'd look for a move back up here in our short squeeze. But it's looking pretty good for a move to the downside. All right, let's jump over to our higher time frame here in the ES and start to go through some stuff. And we'll look at our candlesticks in here as well. Okay, so this is kind of where we left off on the higher time frame. Maybe I mucked it up a little too much, but with these horizontal lines and other trend lines in here, the big trend line is this one here, and that was what gave us the bullish outlook. And we saw a volume dot up here Monday or Tuesday, so we were looking for a move here to the upside. Okay, on this time frame. Okay, and this is, as you guys can see, several weeks. Okay, back to November 1st. All right, so let's put some candles on here. Oh, they won't work on here. Right, that's one of the limitations, guys. We're working on that though. So we'll have to jump back to Trader Map Pro, and we'll just click here on the candlestick settings and go through here. A really interesting thing that the developers put together here, this enable candle aggregation to align with the selected body width. Okay, it's a fancy way of kind of saying in here, here, watch this. I'll show you. We'll go with a like a 10 or 15 second candle here. Okay, but it's obviously this is not 10 or 15 seconds. Okay, but I zoom in, and it'll start to break down. Okay, so now we can see it. Yeah, yeah, there we go. So like every 10 seconds here, or say 15 seconds. No, every 10 seconds. Okay, so every 10 seconds we get a bar. But note how when they start to overlap in here, they'll go to a higher time frame. Okay, so if you like that view, we have it. If you don't like it, then just come to your candlesticks and turn it off. It's under here. All right. No, it's not. It should be under here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so just now you're going to look at every 10 seconds, no matter what. It's forced, or every 5 minutes. Let's look at 30 minutes. Okay, and let's put these pieces together here. What do we got? What do we see in here? Not much, to be honest. This is a beautiful one here, guys. You would look for continuation on this candle here. We've got all these pieces together in here. Okay, we have a big move. We have a lot of volume. Look at the volume behind that move. And now we have supply here, but it trades into and through. Okay, so we look for the next area of high supply, and then the next, and then the next. and it reached all of them. Okay, and then finally it hit this one up here around 60, a little bit through it, and then it fails. Okay, so this is a nice move in here to capture. Okay, on the way down, well, this is the candle here now driving it once it's below here, and we can see the also the selling in here. Now this 30-minute candle in here is getting kind of upended. We're seeing the buyers back up here again. Okay, so now we can look for something more here. All right, so looks pretty good here. Now I would anticipate a pullback here. We'll see. And where would the pullback go? Well, maybe to about here. Okay, let's zoom in. Okay, and now we can put a position on that as well. Okay, so I'll be a buyer here. Okay, the bid looks pretty good. See how they're bidding up underneath? I like that. I like how see how they're pulling here on the offer. All looking good. Our risk here is that we'll miss this. That this is a pretty strong momentum, and we'll get the continuation and leave us behind. We will not get that pullback. Okay, if that is something that bothers you, well, we have a player in here that just came in the market at 61.50 and a half with very high liquidity. One individual with a lot of that. See that liquidity? See how he's kind of manipulating this in here? A very high liquidity. It's the same player, clearly. 99.99% got to be the same player. High liquidity, pulls, adds it lower, pulls, adds it lower. Okay, now we're going to get probably our pullback here, and now he's lifted it. Okay, so now maybe the buyers now can float back up here. Now we didn't get our fill here yet. Okay, but see how this short-term liquidity kind of influenced that price. Okay, bid, now we're back to the same thing we were at before. Bid is strong, aggressors coming in strong. So let's just do this. We're going to look for the breakout here, and I'll get in one position, and then this is a concept in the management though, right? Is this would be a half position here, and this would be a half position here. Okay, so I'm not fully loaded here. I would be down here. Okay, if this is something like you have FOMO or you want to take more occurrences and testing different strategies, etc., in real time or also in replay mode here, then break up your size, okay, and then you can play it that way. Okay, because this is looking good and it's auctioning here, so I would look for it to continue here. Yeah, but we can get a pullback. We might even get a pullback all the way back down to here to 40.46, okay, where these buyers came in. And I'm going with this kind of volume dot here and this momentum and this auction up in here as well. So that's why I'm looking for the continuation at this point. All right, and then how would we take some risk off? I'd look up here. and kind of front run some of that liquidity here at 53. And we'll see. Okay, how about our candlesticks? Well, our candle's kind of failing up here. It's not, you can see, and these are the same, this is the same concept that we went over on Tuesday about auctioning up at these levels. It looks pretty good, but it's kind of struggling right now, right? So this is what we're going to anticipate this actually. We're going to anticipate the sellers to come in and have to retest these levels here because we're not getting the follow through on the buy side up here, right? So in fact, we may even consider just exiting this and then getting back in. Okay, how many times we've seen this so many times in the Rob, we covered it with you yesterday as well. Like, you know, we're looking for this move, but you know, you just see it, there's just not enough buyers. There's lots of buyers in here, but just not enough at the top edge to get it to go through. And then you'll see the kind of mean reversion traders or the range bound traders take it back into the range. Okay, the one thing we're leaning on here is this guy or these transactions here, so we're looking kind of for like a lesser pullback, not a pullback all the way back down to 46. This is the the heat map. You're using Trader Map Lite DB. Okay, let's see if we can get this, guys. If we don't get it up here, we're going to exit because now we're up here and we got to find our buyers here, right? And maybe this pullback was just not enough to find enough buyers here. Okay, I mean, I'm seeing nothing but sellers up here right now. Okay, bid's still pretty good, but yeah, we're going to get another rotation out of this. Let's look at our delta too. Negative delta, negative delta, negative delta. Yeah. Okay, and our candlestick pattern also is kind of failing up here, right? So it looks like we're going to get filled. Okay, so we got filled bottom edge here. And we're negative delta in here. Let's see if we can get those buyers. Let's see if they can, if this was low enough in here, leaning off of these guys here, for enough buyers to come back in and reach back up here. You can see our break even point. This combined with this is making our break even here. We don't have fibs, RB. All right, just hacking around in here. More negative delta though. Okay, so not good. More negative, you know, or more sellers in here. Okay, so probably going to come back down into 47 here. Maybe our 46 now. All right, let's see if we can get these buyers come back in one more time, top edge here. Okay, so this was kind of the idea. We're leaning on these guys in here. Now we're looking for a short squeeze to the upside. Okay, so far so good. We're auctioning here on this range, seeing the buyers. Now we need a little bit more, and if we can, we should be able to get back up to the 51 here. Okay, good. Now, boy, they need to follow through though, not just up to 50 and a half here. Okay, if I see sellers come back in, then we may just cut it here at break even. I mean, look at this paltry buying up here. It's just not enough, right? Yeah, I think let's just cut our losses on this one, and it may do it, but whatever. We're just going to call it, and that's it, right? We didn't get the buying here yet. It still may, but we couldn't even make an equal high up here. So for those reasons in here, I'm just going to look for something better, right? Again, guys, these are kind of some trade ideas on the fly, to understand order flow and then also how to manage it potentially here. We don't know. We're just looking for understanding the behavior in here, the auction, and then looking for follow through with some of those ideas. Okay, we covered candlesticks and kind of also married that with these kind of top edge ideas up in here and bottom edges, okay, along with some management. Okay, starting to follow through. All right, looking good. All right, so we should get our short squeeze up into our maybe 53 area here. Okay, that candle kind of came back to life in here, and now testing up above here. Still not struggling though. So you guys know what I mean? Like over on YouTube, also Discord, like we go over like or what I was covering on Tuesday about the level 2 and understanding this back and forth up here. Reading this closely, looking for that buying pressure or lack of, and then if it does, then you're going to get your pullback if it lacks, and we did get that, and now it's back again, and then yet again. I mean, it still may fail up here, right? There is just not enough buying to trade through. Okay, and we'll get that. What does that mean? If we do get that, we'll look for another move, probably back down into here. Probably around 49, let's call it. Thanks, Alois. Yep, there's an add-on for break-even point. Use that, and you're good to go. It's free. It's included. If you don't see it, go to your add-ons here, your add-ons manager at the bottom, and click on this, and you'll see all your add-ons available down here for install at the bottom. So, for example, there's a new. Actually, it's not a new market pulse. I'm testing a current alpha version. Let's take a look at our deltas again. Kind of interesting. Haven't covered that until I saw Shark messing around with it yesterday, which was great. Boy, not seeing much either in here. I mean, nice distinction in here on Delta with 320, but you know, it's not much. And then here's 193 right back at us. So it's just really kind of choppy. Anyway, you stock traders, especially some of you momentum stock traders, you know exactly what I'm talking about here on these top edges like this. Just waiting and watching for your breakout to see if it's going to happen. You know, looking for that distinction. When you do start to see it auction, you can and really start to pick up and flurries of activity up here. Then you think you most likely got it at that point. But boy, sometimes it'll come up here and it's just a battle. You know, there'll be a ton of sellers on the other side, battle it right back down. It'll come back up, and then maybe it ultimately fails. It exhausts out from that buy side and has to come all the way back down into here, or you know, maybe here, this swing, retest back down here, or trade into the demand down here, and that's low enough to find the buyers to reach back up here and follow through to the upside. Okay, so it might be doing that right now. Let's see if we get that. Okay, here's our retest back up here again. Okay, so we're really looking for that big volume dot here, right? Now we're at the highs here. Okay, and that's probably enough, right? So let's actually, we'll take a quick shot at it here. Quick scalp into our 53, and that's it. It's European close coming up. I don't like that on a Friday especially, but this was the idea. And we're breaking highs and we're breaking it on volume. Okay, here's our retest. We're going to get our answer here. Do we see the follow through? And so far, so good. Okay, so we'd look for it to continue. Okay, hit our take profit level, but didn't fill us. Okay, here's our rotation and back up here again. Okay, we're just looking for the top of the range now. No, can't get it. All right, so if we don't see a move back up here by buyers, then we'll exit this one as well. Okay, good to see them pull here. In fact, we can probably move our target up. I'm not going to. I just want to get filled and get out of this. We got to end the webinar here in a minute. Okay, interesting. Didn't even test. And then exhausted here. Okay, now we're back. All right, so we should get the push now. And this gives us some confidence here. And it struggles yet again. All right, let's see it, buyers. Let's see the push. Okay, we're finally starting to, we see the best offer at least came up here. That's a good sign. NQ is always moving a little bit better than this, Rob. That's why I'm totally with you on that. I'd rather see the you know, um, I'd rather trade the NQ. Guys, I'm gonna exit this. I'm still looking for it. Probably 64, maybe 65 here, and a stop run. But we're just gonna move it down a tick here. It just can't. We're not getting much up here, so I'll move it down one tick and we're out. Okay, so a couple little scalps in here, guys, but you get the concepts and ideas in here. And for review, so we covered higher time frames, okay, looking at a much higher time frame here in this Bookmap Alpha version, okay, and we're looking for this all week long. Well, I'm kind of surprised I was looking actually for just a move up here to 6100, and I'm kind of surprised we get the breakout, retest, and continuation, right in here. Yeah, to me on Monday, and especially on Tuesday, it was looking pretty good for this to continue on this time frame. So then we covered reviewed the level 2 and top edge and understanding the order flow. And we went through some of the candlestick patterns in here and kind of married those two together as well. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. We will. You're welcome, Troglodyte. Troglodyte. Yeah, we'll continue on Monday. So have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you then.